Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Today we're learning another new design, and this is actually a very simple variation of Paisley. We're just going to wiggle into every teardrop shape with a little wiggly line, and that is going to create split Paisley. So let's get on the machine and see how this works in free motion. So to get started with split Paisley, all we're going to do is stitch a simple teardrop shape. Down, swing back in, and now I'm going to stitch a little wiggly line all the way to the end of that teardrop. And there's a lot of different options for how to get out at this point. You could travel stitch against one of the sides of the teardrop, but I think the best look would be to travel stitch back along that wiggly line. And you don't have to rotate your quilt, but I just wanted to make sure you could see what I was doing. Rotate that and stitch back, just a little careful travel stitching. And now we're going to swing out and around, pivot, and echo, just like we do for normal Paisley. Pivot and echo. Okay, so at this point we kind of have to decide, alright, where are we going next? I think I'm going to swing down here and wiggle out with a nice teardrop shape, kind of a wiggly teardrop right here. And now I'm going to stitch my wiggly line and travel stitch back. Hopefully you can see that when I'm travel stitching especially, I really have to slow down in order to get that exact, in order to stay on that line. I have to slow down. Now I'm pivoting and swinging around. You can see that particular echo was just a little bit bigger than all the others. So how do I fix that? All I have to do is go in there and stitch carefully right through the middle of it, and I'll split it in half. So that's an easy fix. If you make that mistake and you accidentally stitch something a little bit too big, that's an easy way to fix it. Okay, so let's try one more Paisley shape. Nice teardrop. And a little wiggly line in the center. And then careful travel stitching. Now pivot and echo. Oops. I seem to be wanting to swing my lines out quite a bit, so I'm going to have to go in there and stitch through the middle again. And fix that echo. It's just a little too wide. No big deal. We can fix that. Always just add more fiber, add more thread, and you'll be just fine. I'm going to swing up here. When it comes to fitting these shapes together, you're always just looking for gaps. You're looking for a space where a teardrop would fit fairly naturally, and where you can fill in the rest of the space, like all this weird area, can just be filled in with echoes. I'm just bouncing from the edge of the space and back, and that's going to fill that up quite nicely. And then I can swing around here and finish that up just fine. So that's it for split Paisley. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing me make a few mistakes in this video and fix them so that they don't look like they're there. Every once in a while you'll have a day where you sit down and it seems like all you want to do is stitch big. And then you'll sit down and it seems like all you want to do is stitch small. And you have to work with it. This is a really good suggestion to start every day with a small practice sandwich. 12 inches, 10 inches, whatever you got on hand. Just a small triple layer of 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of batting in the middle. That's a quilt sandwich. Set down and stitch on that and see what you're naturally doing. If you're swinging that line out and around and expanding things, and work to bring your scale back to where you were quilting before. So if you're working on a bed quilt and you're wanting one particular scale, it's a good idea to always start on a practice sandwich and understand what your body's wanting to do naturally, and so that way you don't put those first beginning stitches on that quilt and potentially have to rip them out. You know, if I was putting this on a real quilt and I wanted things to be really, really, really tight and dense, and I'm swinging everything out real big, well, clearly I can't add more echoes in, but it would be a lot better to just know that, acknowledge it, have a chance to kind of, you know, go on ahead and take stock of what my body's doing that day. So it's always a good idea to start on a practice sandwich and give yourself that little bit of insight before you start quilting. So I hope that you have enjoyed learning how to quilt split paisley. You can find hundreds of videos stitching out over 400 designs on the Free Motion Quilting Project. That is at freemotionproject.com. You can also find tools and supplies specifically for free motion quilting at our quilt shop. That is at leahday.com, and that has all of the supplies that I use on a daily basis, plus books and DVDs if you're interested in that as well. So enjoy, and until next time, let's go quilt.